In Thailand, 9 pro-democracy activists have been arrested over the past 24 hours. They've been detained for taking part in protests against the monarchy. Among those rounded up, the human rights lawyer Anon Nampa. He was the first activist to openly discuss reforming the monarchy during a protest 2 weeks ago. The mostly student-led movement has been largely tolerated by the authorities, but there may now be a shift in policy. For 6 months, protesters have been pushing for Parliament to be dissolved. They also want a new constitution. Thailand's monarch is protected by strict defamation laws that carry a 15-year prison sentence. Andrew McGregor-Marshall joins us from Edinburgh. He is the author of the book A Kingdom in Crisis, Thailand's Struggle for Democracy in the 21st Century. Andrew, how is this movement criticising the monarchy and Thailand's system of governance in general sprung up so quickly?
Well, I think we often see movements like this when countries are moving towards democracy. Things tend to move quite slowly and then very quickly. So the real big development over the past week is that for the first time really in Thailand's modern history, protesters started calling for reform of the monarchy. Now, as you mentioned, they're protected by very strict defamation laws. It's been a taboo in Thailand for generations to mention the monarchy. And this has really caused a combustible and very tense situation. Thailand is really polarized now, and that's really a historic development.
What does it mean to you that the King Maha Vajiralongkorn has apparently told the Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha that he doesn't want any prosecutions to be carried out against those who have been arrested, at least not yet?
Well, this is not quite clear. Way back in 2017, when he was newly crowned monarch and he wanted to try to improve his image, which has never been very good, he was given advice that the lèse-majesté law doesn't really help prevent criticism of the monarchy. It just makes them look worse. So he ordered people to stop using the law. But as we can see, they're just using other laws instead. There's the computer crimes law. There is a sedition law now, which is essentially a treason law, which is being used. So the situation for freedom of speech is actually no better. The king may be trying to send messages that he's trying to be tolerant, but in fact he's known to be really quite robust and quite aggressive. And it does look as if we're moving towards potential violent confrontations here.
Yeah, you're right, actually, because these activists seem to have been arrested under the law of sedition rather than for the actual demands that they've been making in public. How powerful is the king, the monarchy in Thailand? Does it have real powers? And therefore, if any of the protesters' demands were to be met, how much would Thailand change?
Well, they have immense power because although Thailand is supposedly a constitutional monarchy, it's basically a pseudo-monarchy propped up by the military, and the military gain their legitimacy from the monarch. So the king is really the most powerful person in the land. He's not like somebody like Queen Elizabeth of England, who's mainly a ceremonial monarch. He has real power. He's created his own special force loyal to him that is now in control of Bangkok, because I think he was afraid that some elements of the army were really not happy about him gaining all this power. So he's enormously powerful. The government, frankly, are just a puppet, and they're chosen on his whim. So he's the most powerful man in Thailand, and he has no real desire to relinquish this power.
Andrew, really appreciate that analysis. Thank you so much indeed. Andrew McGregor-Marshall speaking from Edinburgh.